She's saying no, but
she's mad, but she still can't even stand.
She's so wobbly.
Sean Whaley is furious.
She's upset. But 100%.
Oh, welcome back, everyone, to a brand new edition of Axe Kick Picks, episode 63. Today is September the 29th, 2023. As always, I'm your host, D-Rock, and joining me from the golf capital, we're getting nicer down there, kid. Joey D, how you doing, bud?
Doing great. Your newest ambassador for Horry Georgetown Technical College.
Attaboy, kid. How does it feel? How does it feel?
Good. Just got to be the responsible one of the group. That's about it.
It's like Pops told me, just do the right thing.
That's right.
Just do the right thing, and that's what we're gonna do today, kid. We got a loaded episode. Strap in. We'll recap UFC Vegas 70. We'll recap Bellator, Johnny Eblen, man. Got one night. We got picks. Don't worry. No UFC, a little hiatus, but we got plays in One Fight Night 14, PFL Paris, and Canelo versus Charlo. So strap in, and I guess, Joe, no better place to start than Fiziev and Gamrot. Not the way we wanted it to end. It ended 2 minutes into the second round. Rafael Fiziev did wind, in fact, tearing his ACL. But he's had surgery. He'll be back within, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 months, hopefully a little sooner than that. But let's talk about first round before we spin it forward. Who did you score the first round? Because I thought it was a very, very close first round.
Not to get off topic, but I was watching Friday Night Lights and, Booby Miles, shout out, what an ACL tear, man, never the same, bro.
Never.
So it's just the stark reality and the stark difference of back in the day and today. Rafael Fiziev, he'll be back from an ACL injury. Back in the day, you couldn't say that would be the case. That's why I brought that up. But honestly, I thought it was very competitive first round. Fiziev Gamrot is just one of the most durable athletes the UFC has on the roster. A lot of people could say that, his past couple fights have broken his way. But at the end of the day, you can't deny the dudes going out there and being as physical as he can with his opponents. And I think that had a lot to do with it because I think a couple of his checks in the first round are what started causing some damage to the knee. Started breaking it down. I forgot some of the exchanges where it was. I do think it was a leg kick that Fiziev threw. And Gamrot being as tough as he is, I mean, that Polish power is real, baby. Yeah. So he checked a couple of them and got him, rattled. And then when Rafael threw that rough kick in the second round, man, he just dropped. And then I want to go ahead of myself, but I got to just speak on the matter. The people commenting about, Gamrot celebrating after the injury. The man didn't know, nor did the referee call the fight. He did his job. Yeah. He was trying to finish the fight. He didn't know exactly what was going on, and it's his job to finish it. So, you don't know what it's like until you get in there, and we don't know what was going through his head. I think he has come out and actually apologized, and he had no ill will behind it. He was just trying to do his job. And that's what.
Oh, wow. I honestly didn't hear people upset about that. That's actually astonishing that people were really upset that a man won. That wasn't his fault. And at the time, he didn't know. And obviously, if you know MMA, you know what had no ill will or no ill intention behind that. He was just celebrating a win. And you can't take anything away. Yes, the injuries suck. And I agree, Rafael Fiziev will be back. But take nothing away from Fiziev Gamrot. That's why I asked you. I scored the first round in his favor, 10-9. You were mentioning checking the leg kicks. He was also throwing leg kicks. He was attempting takedowns, and Rafael Fiziev did look better, I will say, in the takedown defense. There was a lot of scrams in there in the first round that I said, wow, I thought Fiziev Gamrot was going to be able to
get a single takedown in that first round.
He did it. He did it. And as soon as he tried to, it was right to his feet. He was very quick, Rafael Fiziev. So it was some of the quick changes that he made that I thought it was a really close fight. But I did because of those leg kicks. And I think he had a major part to do with, I love the quote that he came out. He goes, my ACL says Salam Aleikum, and ran off. So Rafael Fiziev keeping in tough and high spirits, which you love to see. Now, spinning it forward, We'll talk about Gamrot in a second, but Rafael Fiziev, now he's dropped 2 straight. His stock can't fall. In my opinion, I just don't think it could fall that much. He only goes 1 down, and I still think there are big fights over at lightweight for him.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think he needs to take too far of a step back. You got to let the man recover, A quick, funny little comment. Yeah. But, yeah, you got to let the man recover, and I don't think you hold it against him. It was an injury. I know we've seen a couple fighters before have injuries like this. They get, they don't get a layup in their next fight, but they don't take a big drop in competition either. So, I wished recovery for him well, and give it, honestly, it used to be like a year. It might be close down to like 6 months recovery ACL now. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting, but we do wish him a speedy recovery, Rafael Fiziev. It's interesting. I like the attempt, but you got the tarantula, Jalen Turner, sitting at number 12, who has a loss to Mateusz Gamrot, calling Mateusz Gamrot out after the fight. Don't think he'll get that rematch. But, Michael Chandler, in November, it will be a year since he's last stepped in the octagon. I guess it is worth the wait because he's never going to have another payday like that if the Conor fight does, come to fruition.
Materialize, absolutely.
But now spinning it forward, he did call out Beneil Dariush. I think that would be a great fight for him.
Yeah. They have to run it back. They had fought before. Beneil Dariush hit him with a freaking haymaker and
see ya.
And threw him back a little bit. So Mateusz let in a decision. But I don't know. I mean, they're both very competitive. Beneil taking a step back and Mateusz, coming off a win. I honestly, I don't necessarily like that matchup. I think I would like to see Gamrot face someone else, and I just don't necessarily know who.
Yeah, very interesting at that lightweight division. But overall, I did think it was a good first round until the unfortunate injury. Let's talk about I'm going to call a different name. It's going to be Chief Counsel, the instead of co-main event, the Chief Counsel. Or is it co-main event? What do you I want to get your opinions on calling it that. The Chief Counsel. That's another name I've heard.
That I would say is probably more specific to a person, not an actual part or place, like an event.
Well, let's talk about the co-main event. Bryce Mitchell gets the unanimous decision over Dan Ige. His eyes swelled up. A lot of funny memes coming out, but
freedom.
We'll talk about that. I mean, the guys, whether you thought he deserved the fight or not, I think after this fight, Bryce Mitchell kind of reminded us that he is here to stay and that he is a top 15 fighter. What'd you think of the fight?
Yep, you and I were different sides on this. Dan Ige, he was kind of living up to his name in the first round. I thought if he kept it up, if he kept that type of battering in the second and third round, I think it was Dan Ige's fight to win. And he could have possibly got him out. I was looking at a doctor's stoppage. I was waiting, after seeing that cut.
I was hoping.
On the eyelid, it was bad. But, like you said, Thug Nasty, he is here to stay. For a country boy like that, you can't put him down easily. He's going to fight through just about everything. And, that cut didn't stop him. He is just a wizard when it comes to his technical grappling ability. And, his stand-up has come a long way. He's improved tremendously with throwing kicks and just his distance control. And, it's good to see because you like a lot of these stud grapplers being able to, stand up with the best of them. I got to give a shout out to Chase Hooper because I just want to see how his stand-up's going to be in the future. You know what I mean? Not to get off topic, but these are the guys I like to see that with their grappling background, man, you put a striking game to that, they're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah, it's nice to see the development of Bryce Mitchell and his striking. I thought the fight was relatively close. I was hoping for a doctor stoppage, but he persevered, and it actually felt like he applied the pressure a little more once he knew that, hey, they might be close to stopping this. I got to apply the pressure, and he did a good job of avoiding the striking of Dan Ige. Bryce Mitchell's best path to victory was taking that fight to the ground, and he did exactly that. So you got to give him credit. He's still a top 10, featherweight in the world. So should be interesting. I love him trying to get Michael Bisping and everyone to pray. And it felt like everyone was awkward by it. They were like, "Oh, we get it, we respect it, but we're not trying to. We're not trying to." He tried to grab the mic, and Michael Bisping's like, "No." No,
Michael Bisping has been involved in a lot of awkward post-fight interviews. So
yeah. Very funny there. But yeah, credit Bryce Mitchell. He is there to stay. Marina Rodriguez. Oh my God. She put Michelle Waterson Gomez through a fucking blender in that first. I mean, whoever had the over 1.5, you were on a fucking ride because that shit. I thought, I was like, yo, you got to stop it. She's fucked up.
Yeah, I kept saying that too. I forgot who was the referee in that. Was it Tognoni? Was it Chris Tognoni? I was screaming, "Stop it!" Stop But it's just, shout out Michelle Waterson, man, the karate hottie, absolutely the toughest, one of the toughest women we've ever seen in the octagon.
Yeah.
Super talented and a star of the division and the women's weight classes. I mean, shout out to her, man. Just shows her toughness. And Marina Rodriguez, that's the thing. My analysis was, I thought, the age, I think Marina's a year older than Michelle Waterson. I thought that would have been a difference just based off that, using some grappling. But Marina, utilized her kickboxing, her Muay Thai, cut her up with elbows and knees and strikes in the clinch, and just
she was vicious from the get, and then ending it. And it felt like she was kind of taking it light. She didn't really want to hurt Waterson because it felt like there was a lot of mutual respect. And yeah, Waterson is tough as fucking nails. I bet I wouldn't last. I'd be like, yo, chill, I'm done. And she's out here spitting blood, wearing it.
She's smiling like, let's go.
I mean, you got to give nothing but respect to her. She does drop to number 14th in the women's strawweight. Marina Rodriguez stays inside the top 10 at number 8. So another $50,000 coming their way. They did get a performance of the night to Marina Rodriguez. I mean, that was a hell of a fight. And our boy Brian Battle doesn't get the knockout, but he gets the submission over AJ Fletcher in the second round. It seems like Battle is getting better every fight, Joe. What'd you see from him?
Yeah, and how about the debut of the Butcher?
I
Gotta love it.
We were talking about it.
We put it out there. That's what it is. Yeah. So, and I think he was listening. Brian Battle hasn't let us down since the beginning of Tough when he was first appeared. We got him at his new weight class. I think it's his home. I think he can get it done anyway. And he's technical enough to win in the judges' scorecards. I love everything about Brian Battle. He's my favorite fighter coming out of that Tough class. There was a lot of them that year. And, we saw him live, which I can't get over that. And for him to come out and do it, AJ Fletcher's no, easy task. I think that Louisiana native is a tough dude, and he's built like a fire hydrant. So,
oh my God.
Yeah, shout out him, tough dude. And Brian Battle, man, he just has ways to get it done. And it was a good job.
Yeah, very good job. He kind of weathered the storm late in the first round when AJ kind of tried to put it on and pour it late into the fight. But like you said, the development of Brian Battle from when we saw him coming into the circuit to now, 14-second knockout in front of his home state, and then being patient in that second round, picking him apart and staying focused and lasered in on the ground, and then got the submission. I thought I'm very impressed from him, and I think at welterweight is his natural weight class. So I loved everything about it. He does get the win. He said he wants to run it back, not run it back, but he said he wants a fast turnaround. He wants to fight one more time before 2024. So we'll see if he gets another fight at welterweight. But performance of the night, Charles Air Jordan. He gets the submission in the first round.
I think it's the
Gracie I had him on the money line, but not submission in the first round. And to your point, it's the Gracie effect.
Yeah, that's exactly what I saw. I think he fought Gron Gracie, and there wasn't really much grappling. I mean, there was, but it was really like mundane grappling. We saw it live. But shout out Charles Air Jordan and proving me wrong. I think I had to go in principle there. It was one of my tougher choices. I was torn between the two because I think he has all the talent in the world, and he has a good head and the shoulders. I think if you remember prior to the fight, he was being interviewed about, what's the comparison to just being a Canadian fighter and George St. Pierre. And he was like, they're not necessarily fair to you because none of us are going to be GSP. None of us may achieve the greatness of GSP. And it's hard because we're just trying to be ourselves. He's just trying to be Air Jordan. And I think he went out there and proved it. So, at the end of the day, thank you for that, because I think, Charles,
a lot of people appreciate that.
We needed that. Exactly.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, big win. He's another one besides Marina Rodriguez that gets a performance of the night. And then last fight, I got to talk about the fight of the night. Tim Means.
Never in a boring.
He's never in a boring fight. Plus 145 underdog. Cash is easy. Andre Filo. I feel like this is a guy, we were just talking about Brian Battle and his stock is raising. I feel like Andre Filo's stock is decreasing in my opinion, but I'll let you say your thoughts on that. But man, what a fucking fight between Tim Means and Andre Filo.
Yeah, absolutely banger of a fight. And it was going both ways. If you really think of it, it was kind of go both
100%.
ways. And Tim Means, legend. I think you could probably make a debate for Hall of Fame, but this is the thing. We can't be using this term too loosely. I know we got to get to definitive judging, I think, as well as criteria for Hall of Fame. But Tim Means should definitely get special consideration because how long he's fighting and his age right now He's at top of his game. So shout out Tim Means, Dirty Bird, baby. But Andre Phil, if I could make a comparison, I think he kind of needs to find a new gym, unfortunately. I think in comparison, if you look back in the day, a similar guy, Johnny Walker, he didn't have the best defensive methodology in his fighting. He would get caught a lot, and they used to call him a glass cannon, where he would be able to knock anybody out. He could knock anyone on the planet out, but he could also get knocked out because he didn't have the defensive prowess, and his chin, he's a little chinny. The same thing we're seeing with Andre Filo. He's not defensively sound. He has great offense and great knockout power, but yeah, man, Johnny Walker, I mean, the difference is that my bad. Lost me with the Johnny Walker.
No,
Andre Filio. Yeah, Andre Filio. It's exactly that. He's like a glass candy. He can get knocked out at any point in the fight, but this dude can knock you out at any point in the fight. I think he could find a new home, maybe a new training camp. And not to say that his home, maybe take his guys and go somewhere and get some outside training as well. But I think he could maybe take a chapter out of the book of Johnny Walker, if I could make that.
Yeah, 100%. And we talked about this a few weeks ago. Like, I made the comparison, or I brought the idea up that, hey, I know City Kickboxing is his home, but Israel needs to kind of be a nomad and explore and learn. You talk about Henry Cejudo and how accomplished he is. That's what he does. Look what Ian Machado Gary's doing. He went to Brazil. Now for his fight against Vicente Luque, he's training in the UK. Like, all these guys are just gaining a wealth of knowledge. And he went to KGB. Like, he went over to Ireland, Johnny Walker, and look, he found the love of his life.
Yep.
He turned his life around. He's on a win streak. He's in the top 5, 6. He got his love of his life. Like, sometimes you need that. And like you said, it's not like you're leaving your boys or your trainers behind. You bring them along, but you can never stop learning. You feel like that in all aspects of life. All the successful people, they never stop learning. And I thought that's just a great point. But yeah, big win for Tim Means. Couldn't said it better. Jake Collier found out Muhammad Usman won a unanimous decision. And then
he can fight, as it turns out.
He could fight, it turns out. Mizuki is here to stay. Hannah Goldie. I mean, that was a tough one. Unanimous decision. Mizuki is here.
Yeah, Hannah Goldie's always game. I like her, man. Honestly, she was impressive. Hannah Goldie's not a tough out, man. She's always durable. She was in that fight from beginning to end. And like you said, Mizuki. What was that nickname? Was it? We had the monster at first. I don't think we got it. I think that's what it was that threw me off. It was like a Ichiro situation. They didn't say Inoue. They just said Mizuki. Both the announcer and when the name popped up and her shorts, it just said one name. So it's like an Ichiro situation.
That's pretty
cool. Shout out
That's
Mizuki.
Unique. Yeah, shout out Mizuki, man. Big win for her. Like I said, performance of the night, Charles Air Jourdain, Marina Rodriguez, and then the fight of the night, Tim Means and Andre Filo. I went 2-2, Joe. How did you wind up doing last week?
Yeah, man, it was an off UFC event. I think I read the board a little wrong. I get a lot of the analysis right, but I do tend to get on the wrong side of things. But hey, my record for the UFC Vegas 79 was 4-9 between the prelims and the main card.
All right, down week, but we had a couple positive weeks in a row, so we'll get right back on track real quick. Ebbs and flows. You're never going to win 100%. But last week, I thought honestly was better than the UFC card. And that was over there in Bellator, Eblin versus Edwards in Dublin. And man, what a fucking fight between Johnny Eblin and Fabian Edwards. Got the cut in the beginning of the fight.
Bad one, too.
Bad one. You show Dustin Poirier. He was in his corner. He took a picture. He put it out on X or Twitter, whatever you call it. And that shit was deep. I said, and then to overcome that and get the knockout win, oh, you had to feel for fucking Johnny Eblin, man. What'd you think of the main event?
Yo, and that crowd was buzzing. Honestly, shout out Dublin, Ireland. Yo, the Irish always come out and support no matter who's out there, especially their own. But hey, doesn't matter. Johnny Eblin, he's the truth, man. I honestly think he's the best middleweight in the world. I'm not gonna lie. Shout out Sean Strickland. Shout out Israel Adesanya. Shout out, we got Hamza gonna fight Paulo Costa for who's gonna be a contender right there. Man, Johnny Eblin, the way he put out Fabian Edwards, and you can debate the level of Fabian Edwards, but he's out there training with his brother Leon, who is the welterweight champion of the world every day. So I don't necessarily think you can compare apples to oranges. The dude is absolutely legit. So Johnny Eblin to go out there and beat the adversity, overcome the cut that was one of the worst, and the doctors, they said, were this close to stopping it.
Yeah.
I mean, he went out there and finished him in the second round via KO, TKO. I don't think any of us saw that coming, really. I think we saw 2 outs for Johnny Eblen, that he was going to win the judges' scorecards, or if he got him down, he would out-wrestle him, maybe submit him. No one saw the stand-up prowess for him to knock him on his feet and to finish the fight on the ground. I think Johnny Eblen's the real deal.
And he fights in Florida at AT&T, correct?
Yeah, has to.
So,
if you got Dustin in his corner,
yeah.
I think they're fighting out of AT&T. So you got a room full of savages in there, and he's testing his might every single day. I think you put Johnny Eblen on a pound for pound list, and I think you probably rank him number 1 in middleweights. And that's just my opinion, and others are granted to have theirs. Have the right to have theirs.
I think before the fight, it was definitely in consideration of all time or right now. And then after that performance, I said, he's not just the top 10. He has to be either in the top 5 or not, if not the first. And that's no disrespect, like I said, to Israel Adesanya, even the Robert Whitakers, like, who have paved this division before Israel. Sean, you can't forget the champ. But I'm looking at a rankings right now of a list that I will not name the website because it's just, guess where they have Johnny Eblen?
They don't even have him in the top 10 of middleweight rankings.
No, they don't.
It's 13th or something.
16th.
That's embarrassing.
That's it. I'm lost the words. It's like unexcusable.
Who are the people making these lists as well? Do we know their names? Who are these people?
That's why I said I'm not going to name who made the list and what website, but they have Kelvin Gastelum, Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, Joe.
Yo, don't get me wrong. They're savages, bro.
They're savages, but they've never even fought for the belt.
Isn't Gastelum trying to make his home 170?
Yeah. And now he has a fight. It just got announced against Sean Brady. So
and that would be at 170.
That's exactly my point. They have Chris Curtis, and I love the action man, but they have him at number 10. I just don't understand.
You're going to get a debate out of us. That's for sure. Absolutely.
Oh my God. I had to ask that. But other than the main event, how else did you do? Oh, by real, I wanted to ask you, what did you think of him calling out Leon after the fight? I like it. Go after the brother.
And not only after the fight, like literally after finishing his brother, man, Leon was in the circle and they were just yawing at each other. He was like, yo, you're next. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, be careful. Johnny Eblen's bigger than Leon. So, I mean, I like it. I do. I think it could be good for a Bellator. I know you broke the news about what may be going on. So, hey, shout out.
Other than that, how else did you do last weekend with Bellator?
Oh man, I thought it was a good event. I didn't do particularly good in the main event. I went 1-4. I read it wrong. I did, and I think I had a lot of props to get the value. I think we had a lot of favorites. So you know, like I said, I shied away from the money line, which I stick to my guns with, just to get you guys some value. So I didn't do right there. But hey, throughout the prelims, 8-6-1, not too bad.
Not a boy. Okay, so not too down, because if you do the prelims, you're pretty much even or a little above. How else? Over the weekend, BKFC, you had Risen coming off another 5-0 week in Dana White Contender Series. I think all 5 of the winners got contracts as well.
I think we had a little bit more. There was about 6 fighters that got contracts last week.
Danny Barlow, you have Angel Pacheco, Danny Silva, Carly Judas, and then the other 2, Joe. Whew.
Yeah, and for that, the guys that they fought, I went 4-1. Dana White Contender Series. I've been on a roll. And Risen, you know, my 3 picks, I was off, man. Surprising upset in the main event. I only went 1-2 for Risen. And then BKFC, yo, like I said, at the end of the day, he's a legend of the sport and combat sports world. Chris Camozzi put on an absolute performance against Lorenzo Hunt. But the juggernaut Hunt, you know, he is a champion for the reason, a 2-weight champion for BKFC. But Chris Camozzi always brings the pressure and is always game. And that was a great fight. And I stayed up, watched every round. It was blood and guts between the 2 of them. I was, I was impressed by both competitors, both Chris Camozzi and Lorenzo Hunt.
Now, overall, because I thought, honestly, I was more focused on Johnny Eblen and Fabian Edwards fight than anything over the weekend, like mixed martial arts, I'm speaking. So do you agree? You think that was the best card over the weekend?
Yeah, I do. I'll be honest. And you know what also goes into it? Like I said, the crowd. At the end of the day, that Dublin crowd was absolutely electric and better than anything we've seen over the weekend. So they get my nod.
100%. And we'll see something for the PFL in Paris. And we'll talk about that in just a little. But before we get to our preview and plays, a quick word from our sponsor. Tonight, we are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, the most refreshing hard seltzer on the market, hands down. No wonder why Viva was voted #1 hard seltzer in the world by San Francisco World Spirit Competition. With only 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, and a light 4.5 ABV, Viva is the perfect drink for your post-game celebrations, as it was created with that active lifestyle in mind. We flavor tequila seltzer because flavor is the spice of life, and we like our drinks with just a kick. Just like how we like our lives, whether it's Huckleberry playing around the golf with the boys down in South Carolina or in Elderberry on a Saturday watching PFL Europe, it doesn't matter. Our flavors pair perfectly with that artisanal Blanco tequila for that subtle and refreshing drink. Our belief here at Axe Kick Picks and at Viva is to live long, live well, and live it up. All right, Joe, let's start with One Fight Night 14. Take it away. By the way, real quick, we had an event today. How did you do there?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, my man. I had a great morning. 9-2 to start us off. One Friday Fights 35. A great display of Muay Thai.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money.
Second best promotion in all of combat sports. So shout them out. And like you said, One Fight Night 14, Stamp versus Ham in the main event. And here we are, man. I'm excited for it. I know you are. Let's go with some of the plays that we have. And I'll go as early as the first fight of the evening. I still think it's only had a couple cancellations, but let's go with Blake Cooper taking on a BV here in the first fight of the whole card. I like both of these guys. I got to go with the American. I just like the grappling that I'm seeing from him, and he's knocked a couple dudes out. But you can never underestimate, a talented guy with a nice record. I think he's hailing from Switzerland. That would be Maurice Albivi. But like I said, give me the American, who's a dog early, plus 115 on the money line.
You
Blake
can get
Cooper.
it right now, plus 125, kid.
Hey, I love it. I love it. Hey, I guess some money's going on the other side. He has a little more experience, but I'm going with the young guy, Blake Cooper.
I love it.
All right, and the next fight that I see after this is Asa Tempao. I think he's a Muay Thai veteran, another American guy. He's taking on Thais Rambolek. And I mean, Rambolek, dude, you can mess with these Thais, dude. They throw elbows in the clinch viciously. I just seen Asa Tempao, though, in his tape footage. I like what I'm seeing from his ability to throw these leg kicks and check them. I think if he does that, keeps the distance, he could come out on top. So give me Asa Tempao, another American early as a dog. Don't sleep on the Americans, kid. Plus 160. I had 195. Yeah, early. Let's go. So I see here a good couple other fights that we can get into, but let's go into the next one. And I'm going to let you take it over here, but it's between Mauro Cirilli and Paul Elliott, one's veteran. What do you got here, man?
Yeah, Cirilli, he's the more well-rounded, I guess, kind of fighter. He's 40 years old. He can strike, but he's 40 years old. His chin has seen enough, and he's only fought twice since 2019. Very inactive, very inconsistent. I don't like to back guys like that. Elliott, he trains with Tommy Aspinall and Killers. You have one of the champions and one of the you know who I'm talking about. He's a champion, I think, for
Cage Warriors or
for
Philip the Fries? Is he training with Philip the Fries?
Yeah, Philip the Fries and Tommy Aspinall. So he's chilling with fucking Killers. I think he could catch the old man. So give me Paul Elliott on the money line. He's plus 300, and I'll even throw a flyer on him via KO TKO.
I like that. Yeah, his stand-up is slick, man. I'll be honest, his last outing, he was winning that fight until he got caught by the South Korean, man, and that's what it was. The dude's got superpower. He caught Paul Elliott on the chin flush, and I just like the standing ability of Paul Elliott, like you said, and I think the age is going to come into a factor. I think he's the crisper fighter in here, and I think he's more in his prime. Give me Paul Elliott, the dog. I got it at plus 300. What'd you get it at?
300 as well.
Let's go. I love it. Team ride on that one. Hey, guys, I got another fight here for you, and it's a veteran fight. I'll be honest. They're running this one back. Edward Folyang. He's taking on Amir Khan, and not the Amir Khan we know of boxing. MMA's Amir Khan. Like I said, they fought before. Edward Folyang won that exchange. He was in his prime, as Edward Folyang was only 18. Amir Khan was only 18 when they first fought. this is a totally different story. Amir Khan is now in his prime, and Edward Fournier is on his way out. Give me Amir Khan to right the wrong and get it back. I'm going to take him on the money line at -115. He is Axis revenge against Edward Fournier.
You could get him now at -106.
All right, so I guess it's evening up, more of a pick 'em.
Yep.
And here's something that I've been kind of going back and forth on, but I like the Thai and Muay Thais. I think that he has his record. He's been fighting since he was a kid. Dmitry Menshikov is just not going to be able to match the output of Sitsong Pinong. Give me him on the money line. It's -600. The way that I see these fights sometimes working out is, unfortunately, going to the judges' scorecards. We do have a lot of exciting fights, and with 4-ounce gloves in these Muay Thai, knockouts can happen. 3 knockdowns in a round is a knockout finish, a technical knockout finish. So anything can happen, but something tells me that this can make it to the judges' scorecard because I've been just so back and forth about it.
Now, you bet on one fight night more than me. When do props like that come out? Because I think the UFC does a good job of putting it out there. I still can't find any props.
It takes me a while. I'll be honest with you. I do have to check overseas books. I'm looking all over for these odds and when they are posted. And unfortunately, for the most part, they're late. They're a lot later than I would like for my taste. And I don't think the UFC is any different, to be honest. There's a couple of fight nights and a couple of Dana White Contender Series where graphics and odds are being posted literally last minute. So do better.
Do better, yes. Just do your job.
This next fight, and I've been torn as well. These two, I think, are some of the closest in terms of, I lost for words right there. Stephen Loman's taking on John Lineker. Is that what I'm trying to say? I think we're going to be in for a bar burner. John Lineker always brings the pain. Hands of stone is absolutely definitive of this guy. But Stephen Loman, 1 loss in his record, Philippine stud. I think the dude's super talented. I'm torn, man. I really am. Like I said, I had to go with the Thai in terms of the Muay Thai, but I think I got to go with the Brazilian in MMA here because it is an MMA fight. Give me John Hands of Stone Lineker. -120 is when I got it at. He is going to be the smaller guy. He is going to be the more experienced guy. But like I said, as torn as I am, don't be surprised if Stephen Loman has the upset of the century.
Now, Stephen Loman, it had to have flipped where something must have happened because John Lineker is +176. Stephen Loman is -230.
I don't see anything about John Lineker missing weight. He has had issues in the past, though he's a lot shorter than a lot of his competitors, but he has had issues with his weight. I don't see anything regarding that. I think
that's just a crazy line switch.
I think people are seeing the truth about Stephen Loman. Like I said, I saw it prior. I had to take John Lineker. It's an MMA fight based off the experience. I love John Lineker. I'm a small guy, like a short guy fan. He's fighting an always heavier weight, bigger guys. I gotta love John Lineker, but I think people are seeing the truth of Stephen Loman. They've seen the tape. A lot of people have come in on him. I saw it coming in, but I would be fading myself if I didn't go with precedent here, and that's the only reason. And enough could be said about that. I think we can continue going on with that fight, how exciting it is. Watch out. Fight of the night there. Seriously. Sleeper for fight of the night. We got a special rules bout in this next.
What does that mean? I was looking at that.
Man, and I looked into it, and I really couldn't get a definition. But to me, it feels like it's probably going to be a mix of like Muay Thai, possibly without like clinch elbows, possibly without like throws. And though they don't allow throws altogether, there's trips and stuff that are technically allowed that are just as valuable as throws would be. So I'll try to tweet anything or post anything of the information I think.
Do another thread because your first thread on X was very informative, and I actually learned a lot. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, it wasn't about the criteria of the judging. It was just the background and the history of why and when we got these.
But casual fans don't know that, so it's important to put it out there.
But in a special rules fight, you got Wonder Girl taking on a veteran of the game, Jinan Zhang, and I'm going with the young girl. I think they're making the special rules for a reason to cater to Wonder Girl and her age and her capabilities. So give me one's ability to, get their fighters pushed. And I think they're going to want Wonder Girl. She's a dog here. I got her early at +175. So do you see any change on that? I know that last line switch got me thinking.
Wait, who do you have?
Jan Jonsenak. No, Nat. Yeah, John Runsenek. Wonder Girl.
Yeah. Nat Surak is +285.
Woo! I guess I'll take that too. I got her
Yeah.
plus 135. These odds, I guess they got a lot of swing. I guess, I don't know.
Zahn is minus 400.
You know what it is? She's 35. That's the age factor for me, but she's way
It all
got a
comes
bigger
down to the
resume.
special rules.
That's the thing for me. This is the X factor here. So
Yeah.
if they're giving these odds, I got something for you at the end of this. So give me
Oh.
Wonder Girl on that plus 175 is when I got it, but I'll gladly take it at plus 285. The next one, our hometown girl, New Jersey's own. Shout out, town over. But hey, Danielle Kelly, how you doing? She's taking
Keep
on
it
Jessica
moving.
Khan. How you doing? Keep it moving. Danielle Kelly, you would call me dumb if I would fade her in this spot. Grappling star. She could do it all, and it is a grappling title fight, strawweight championship vacant. So I think Danielle Kelly is favored for a reason here. Give me her on the money line. I saw it at minus 400, but with the grappling fight, I think there's only two ways: decision, maybe it's one round, or submission. She's so talented. I think I'll go ahead and take her via submission.
No odds for that, but Danielle Kelly is only a minus 102 favorite. Jessica Khan is minus 125.
Man, I'm loving these odds, man. If you're seeing these swings, man, I'm going to take it. Like I said, you see sometimes I have these boosted odds or very heavy flavor odds because I'm getting them as early as I can. As you asked me before, when am I seeing them? I'm seeing them as soon as I can, baby. So
And real quick, what does Adam weight? What weight is that? I've never heard of
105.
it. Wow, these are
105
small
atom
girls.
weight. Yeah, well, that's Invicta. Invicta has the atom weight championship, 105. Atom weight 105, straw weight 115, fly 125, bantam 135, feather 114.
I love this.
So there is atom weight, and I'll be honest, I think they even have a 95-pound class.
No,
I just don't know what that's called, man. Yeah, I don't know what that's called. You got me there.
You're good.
All right, let's go into the co-main event and another one. I think they're putting the girls on display here. And if you saw Friday fights this morning, the girls started it up, and now we got fight night 14. The girls are ending it. So
Let's
co-main
go.
event: Samila Sundell taking on Brazilian Muay Thai stud Rodriguez. She beat Stamp Fairtex in the main event back in the day. But I think the 18-year-old phenom, Samila Sundell, is going to win this handedly. Give me her on the money line at minus 165. I think there's no way around it. I think it'll be competitive, but I think she's in the co-main event slot for a reason. At 18 years old, her ability to strike and just, manage distance and control the ring, I think she's the real deal. Give me Samila Sundell, minus 165.
Sundell right now, minus 225. So you're on the right side. Money's coming in on her.
Cool.
18, Joe?
Yeah, man, I know it. Normally, I would be a little concerned. I think sometimes relatively too young is an issue.
And Rodriguez just beat the girl in the main event. Fair catch.
It was a little bit ago. It was actually like 3 or 4 years ago. But hey, it happened.
Wow. Amazing.
So speaking of the main event of one fight night 14, we have our girl Stamp Fairtex taking on Sohee Ham. And Dylan, I know you got to play in this, so take it away for me.
Sohee Ham plus 144. I just think the fight is a little too early for Stamp. We all know what she likes to do. I was watching some tape today. She likes to throw those power strikes, kicks to the body. She loves her right hand. Her leg kicks are nice, but I just think Ham, being a southpaw, fighting against a southpaw, I think is very tough. I think it's going to give Stamp some problems. Ham has good takedown defense as well. And I feel like Stamp needs to weather the storm early. And if she could do that, I think she's going to be very difficult for her to fight. So give me Ham to get it done on the money line, plus 144 right now. Yeah, plus 144. I see plus 120s out there. So plus 144, I give me the dog.
Awesome take, man. Great analysis as well. I think Sohee Ham, to win this fight, that's her game. She needs to find a way to get it to the ground.
Yeah.
Absolutely so. But Stamp Fairtex, man, I think she's the real deal. I think she's made her transition to MMA very seamlessly. She beat Elise Anderson in her last appearance, finished her. And when she challenged for the belt, she fought a girl who was 2 times bigger. Her Angela Lee is not a small girl. Stamp Fairtex hurt the champ, the double champ in Angela Lee, bad in multiple rounds and lost in the split decision in the judges' scorecards. Stamp Fairtex is absolutely capable of getting any opponent out of there. I love Stamp Fairtex. She gave me a follow. She shouted me out.
Hey!
I can't fade Stamp Fairtex in this. She's training in America. I love everything about her. Stamp Fairtex is my girl in this spot. I got her in the money line minus 215. People love her. It seems the books love her. I hope I'm on the right side. What's the odds now?
Right now, you could get Stamp Fair Tex at minus 163. I see the highest at minus 186.
Awesome stuff, man. Yeah, I just love everything about it. Like I said, I think she's been set up well for this title.
Should be a fun one fight championship. Catch it on Amazon Prime. Starts in about 2 hours, so get your popcorn.
That's why we got
ready.
it out there quick. Absolutely, brother. And real quick, man, I'm seeing some value. Like I said, I got these girls in the top 4 fights. Might as well put them in a parlay. I got the Power Girls parlay.
Hey.
Put all my choices in the 4 fights. We got Wonder Girl
Yeah.
in the special rules fight.
What?
We got Danielle Kelly in the
What?
grappling fight. We got Samila Sundell in a Muay Thai fight. And we got Stan Fairtex in the MMA championship. Give us them 4 plus 7, 10. Let's ride.
Woo! It's the I Know Chicks parlay. You know chicks, baby. Let's go. Love it. Good luck, Joe. Should be a fun fight on Amazon
Thank you.
Prime.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And I'm glad we talked about one and everything they have going on today. But tomorrow, that's for today. How about tomorrow, man? Paris on display again for the PFL Europe 3. You can call it PFL Paris if you want, but that's where we're going with this. And it's headlined by the debut of Cedric Doumbé taking on Jared Zeto and Zebo. But at the end of the day, man, I think it makes for an interesting card. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it should be a very good card. I love PFL. I think what they're doing over in the Europe stand, like we were just discussing, the crowd is electric and they really have passionate fans. They're there from the fucking start of the fights to the end making noise. So you got to keep going back and giving the people what they want. So I love that the UFC, I love that PFL, I love that Bellator, they all get over to Europe because they deserve it. There's some very dedicated fans. They stay up until in the middle of the night to watch the UFC. So I love it from that standpoint. And it just sucks that it's not on. We can't watch it here in America.
No, they didn't make it available, and that's just so
Sad.
Concerning to me. It's concerning, actually. It makes me concerned about some of the rules, maybe, or like you said, maybe the direction of the promotion to not, to make it such an emphasis to want to promote these fighters and not be able to be an American wavelength and airwaves. I mean,
classless.
Yeah. But hey, nevertheless, let's get to the fights. I mean, we're going to find a way to tune into these somehow or hear about them somehow. So we're going to know what happens.
Allegedly.
At the end of this, we're going to find out what's going on in these fights. So my first fight of the night, I think it's Dylan Tuke taking on Jacob. Let's see here. Kazuba. We had a couple fights be canceled. And John Mitchell, I think he got a fight last second because Chizov, I'll be honest, D-Rock, you and I both had Alexander Chizov. He missed weight. He was going to be our dog, but at the end of the day, John Mitchell got a new opponent. So let's go into, like I said, the Dylan Tuke versus Jacob Kazuba. I've gone with Jacob Kazuba before in the past. I'm not fading him or myself. He having an undefeated record and knocking a lot of people out. Give me Jacob Kazuba on the money line at minus 165 to start us up.
Jacob Kazuba right now, minus 166.
Hey, right there on it. So the next fight I think is an interesting one. And I looked into it. I've done my homework and I'm torn enough that I don't have a play. So D-Rock, the ball's in your court for Franz Malabo versus Mokhtar Banaki.
Yeah, give me another dog. Franz Malabo on the money line, plus 140. I don't know. I was watching the tape. Like I said, I just don't know how he's the underdog. He's won 6 fights in a row. Right. There's no way Mokhtar should be this big of a favorite. I think regardless of just looking at the names, this is just a pure, you got to play the number for me. Plus 140 is ridiculous. I think this should be more of a pick'em if I was an odds maker.
Absolutely.
France, he's a fast southpaw, and he also trains out of SGP or SPG. We were just talking about it. So, who also has a fast, accurate southpaw? Conor fucking McGregor. So I feel like fighting a southpaw could be very difficult. I was talking about that earlier. Now Mokhtar, he could possibly catch him. I do think he has the power advantage in this fight, but that hasn't happened to Franz in a while. So I think Franz has the speed. He has the cardio advantage. He has good takedown defense. I doubt the fight is going to be taken to the floor. I think these guys are going to trade and bang, but should be a good fight. I just think Franz's speed accuracy and defense should win him the fight. I think he has more ways to win. So on pure value, plus 140, I got to take Franz.
I like that. I hope that his durability isn't on too much display because I know Franz Malumbo is durable. It's the Mokhtar power that scares me because I have seen him have that power before. I have seen him fight Franz Malumbo, not as much. I had to look at the tape, but I'm so torn because, like you said, I think he is a tough, longer competitor, and he can make this a fight, man. He really can. So I stayed away. I like your take on it.
A little recency bias because on the 6-fight win streak, he's not fighting some junkyard people. He's fighting contenders, and for him to not get knocked out, I feel like his chin is good. He does spar a lot, so I think it's just pure value. But I am worried, like you said, about the power.
Absolutely, but he can stay away from it. Absolutely,
100%.
he can stay away from it. So let's go right into the next fight. And for some reason, on my radar and doing a lot of research, man, Ali Taleb has been fighting a lot of competitors, a lot of contenders, a lot of guys that are vying to make it to the UFC, in the UFC, and other promotions. I think this dude is an absolute gamer here. I like him in this spot. He's taking on Khurshid Kakarov, but Kakarov, I just think he has some flaws. There's some holes in his game here, and I think Ali Taleb can exploit them. I think he's a great kickboxer. If he keeps the fight standing, I think the ball is in his court. I know he may fall some issue on the ground, but I think he's comfortable enough to keep away from submissions and maybe stay dominant, stay in top control, stay in positions that favor him so he doesn't have to worry about said submission. So Ali Taleb, I like the talent here. I see him as a favorite as well. I wonder where the odds went, but give me minus 260 for Mr. Ali Taleb.
Right now, he's minus 205, so going the other way, you could get plus 175 on the other side.
All right. Hey, I like it. I like it. But let's go. I see a couple cool fights. Lariano Staropoli's in here. Enrique Madurura. A couple good fights. It turned out that's going to be the prelim headliner, but let's get into the main card here. Why don't we? I got the opening fight, and I'll post my verdict plays as well for this because Verdict's taking care of us. They have everything covered. I got Dakota Tcheva opening up the main card, taking on Cornelia Holm, and I'm hearing great things from Dakota Tcheva, so much so
she's
that
a beast.
I do think the books have this right. She's a minus 2,000 favorite. Cornelia Holm, 6-5 record. All the fights that she lost does come via decision. I think keep an eye out for that because that's where you're going to get the most value. And that is my verdict play is Dakota Tcheva to win via decision. I think that's where you get the best odds, to be completely honest. But her on the money line is 2,000. No one's going to touch that.
Yeah, so actually the fight to go the distance is plus 275. So it's not favored to go the whole round.
It's favored to finish, right? It's favored for her to get a knockout.
No, fight doesn't go to decision, minus 400. So we'll see to win decision plus 400. Her best thing is to win Dakota to win by KO TKO at minus 200. I think she has the power.
I get. Yeah, that's my point. Is that they're favored? She's favored to finish this fight.
Yeah, so not inside the distance. Yeah,
and I think that's going to surprise a lot of us because, like I said, she is super talented and she can get it out of there. But like I said, Cornelia Holm, all her losses have come via decision. So I think she's tough enough and she's big enough to take some of these shots. So yes, the minus 2,000 isn't the smartest play, but the via decision is. You get plus 400 for it.
Yeah, 100%.
All right, so let's go right into the next fight. And a lot of people are talking about these studs. I think the PFL is trying to put these Europeans on display here. Simeon Powell taking on Daniel Ladero. Such a huge underdog. I don't think Ladero has a shot here. I would call it out. My verdict play, Simeon Powell, first round KO, TKO. I try to get the odds there, but on the money line, he's minus 750. So I think you're going to have to find some juice worth the squeeze.
Yeah, no props for that fight, but Powell. Money has come in. He's 12-1 now, minus 1,200.
Yeah, stay away from these crazy odds, but I think they got it right, unfortunately. I think you just have to find something you feel comfortable in taking so that you get some value out of it.
Yes,
so let's go into the next one. We got Anthony Salamone, and I think it's a kind of an Italian name, but he's representing France. So how about that? Let's go take on Jacob Nedo. Croatia or Slovenia. I think it's Slovenia. But hey, at the end of the day, I think Jacob Nedo is a super athlete. He's super powerful, big dude. Anthony Salamone, I think he could get caught. I know he only has one loss on his record, but something's telling me that Jacob Neto is going to find his chin. So give me what I think is another favorite. I'm thinking this guy's a dog, but no, man. What I'm seeing here is he's a favorite. Jacob Neto minus 200.
Right now, Jacob Neto is minus 330.
Wow. So I think I'm kind of on the right side with some of these. It scares me when I see you the odds get shifted way away from where I was going. That's the only time
I would advise to put them in a parlay. All these big favorites.
So you get some value out because you're not getting any money. Well, you're gonna dollar bet for minus 2,000. If you make 2 cents back. Let's go into the co-main event of PFL Europe 3. Otherwise, you can call it PFL Paris. All right, hey, co-main event slot: Abdul Abdurragimov and taking on Brad Wheeler. I think this is a layup fight for him, man. Abdul Abdurragimov, I think he's going to find a way to get it to the ground, and he's going to finish it. Give me him on the money line, minus 800. But like I said, what you're going to want to do is get some value out of it. I wouldn't necessarily go with the first round via submission, but I would take via submission from Abdul here and think the juice would be worth the squeeze on that.
Minus 1,600 now.
For the submission or a favorite?
Just in general, but I'll see submission.
If you submission.
Plus 110.
Do it. I think that's a safe bet, but if you want to get frisky, go ahead and put him first round submission while they're dry. He grabs a hold of him and chokes him out.
So for him to just win straight up in the first round, minus 250.
Or you can play a round 1 win. That's also available as well. I like the sound of that. I do. But hey, time has arrived. We're here for the main event, and Cedric Doumbé is here, man. He's making his debut against Jordan Zebo, and I think Jordan Zebo is a gamer here. I do. France fighter, undefeated, some explosive knockout power. But I think the reason we're all here is for Cedric Doumbé's debut. I really do. I said it 3 times this podcast already, and I'll say it again 4 times the charm. Cedric Doumbé's debut. He needs to prove it here. I'm going to take him straight up once again. I have him. Let's see. We got it. Minus 180, so he's a little favored. I think Zebo's pretty tough. I get concerned is his gas tank. I hold him that much muscle and maybe getting into later rounds that Doumbé can get him out in the 2nd or 3rd round. But if Zebo does hold up, it surprises me that his gas tank isn't enough. Don't be surprised with a disappointing but impressive, because we're going to think that Doumbé is going to finish the job here. When he gets the victory, it will be an impressive one, but I think it disappointed a lot of people because he wound up to the judges. So I think don't be surprised if he's Cedric Doumbé decision here if you want to get some value.
Cedric Doumbé to win by decision, plus 450. The favorite is for him to knock him out at minus 125. But I agree. I think maybe first round knockout to win in the first round, plus 240. This, like you said, this card is made and set up for him to succeed. He needs to win this fight, in front of his home country. This is his coming out parade. All eyes are going to be on him. No UFC. I think that's a good job, honestly, on the PFL standpoint. But yeah, I agree. I think he's rightfully the favorite. All the hype is on him. But I will say the same thing with the Sean Strickland thing. Jordan Zebo has nothing to lose. These are the scariest fighters to face. So watch out. Like you said, that's the one thing I do worry about. If Jordan could drag it out, Cedric could be in some trouble. That's why I think everyone's banking on him to win early.
So he's a live dog?
So right now, I guess the odds, the odds right now, plus 195. Maybe. I think this might be like a good live betting situation. You watch the fight and you see, okay, he escaped first round unscathed a little bit. Fight's going a little longer.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe you could get a better number live, plus 250. Bang.
I'm seeing a late finish from Cedric Doumbé, possibly a victory on the unanimous side with the judges.
Yeah,
that's what I'm seeing
on that one, kid. Can't wait for it though. It does start tomorrow.
Yeah, and so you guys try to find a way to find it. If you have a European friend, you'll find it. Yeah, you'll get it. You'll get it. All right, and I heard you, and I did it. A couple plays to get out of these favorites to make them parlay and to make this some value.
I love it.
4-leg parlay I have for you for odds of plus 165 contains Ali Taleb, Simeon Powell, Jacob Neto, and Abdul. All together gives you a plus 165. But as well, you want to play it safer. I got a 2-leg parlay that is similar in odds, plus 150. That would be Jacob Kazuba and Cedric Doumbé, the first fight and the last fight I have. parlay, 2-leg parlay plus 150. I think the odds might be better in that. You got only 2 chances to miss instead of 4, and you get 150 instead of 165. I like both, but you got a safer bet with the 2-leg parlay.
I do like it. I love it, Joe.
Awesome, man. I'm hyped. I'm hyped all weekend for this one. And I mean, that was MMA and Muay Thai and everything else. But I think we're gonna talk about some boxing here. I think it's been a while, man. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, we got a fucking banger this fucking weekend. And in lovely Las Vegas, you know, he couldn't fight 2 weeks ago. The UFC stole his day, but he's fighting this weekend.
That's
I
right.
can't wait. The return of Canelo Alvarez.
Man, he's been doing great on the press conference and like all the media that he has been doing. And he even had a fit check. He I got the $2,000 coat on, a $150,000 watch on his wrist.
I mean, when
Joe,
when you're 52 or 59 and 2 with 39 knockouts, you can walk around like
That's
that.
right. That's right. But Canelo, man, he's doing a great job. He's already one of the biggest stars on the planet, and one of the best boxers as well, man. He's just super crisp. If you want to get right into it, I just like everything.
He's dropping down real quick, right? He's dropping down to super middleweight, right? Yeah, I think so.
You're right. I think he's actually the one challenging Jermell for his belts. And Jermell Charlo is no joke. And it's surprising because I think a lot of people saw that. And I was mentioning Jamal, his brother, Jermell Charlo. I think people were expecting him to fight because they're already in the same weight class. But the fact that that's you made a point right there. The fact that Canelo dropped and gave the fight to Jermell, I think says something about the brothers, honestly. You know, I think both of them are, you know, highly competitive. They're probably like sparring each other, you know, iron sharpens iron with both of them. So I think he's kind of live here, but I just can't see Canelo losing his spot. That in fact he's going down. We've seen the only time he had trouble is him going up and fought Dimitri Bivol. So anytime that he's fought a guy smaller than him, I think Floyd was actually his size at the time when Canelo Alvarez was just 23 years old and fought Floyd Mayweather. He was not the size he is today. Since Saul Canelo Alvarez was a lot smaller and closer to Floyd's size. But now he is a bigger guy and he's making quick work of anyone who's his size or smaller. So that makes me think that Canelo Alvarez this is his fight to lose. He's of course the A side. And I just think that he's seen it. He did go the distance with Dimitri Bivol. He has seen the likes of Floyd Mayweather. You know, he's Canelo Alvarez, and it's going to take you to get him out of there to win this fight. It's going to take Jermell Charlo finishing Canelo Alvarez to win this fight because I don't think the judges are going to favor him at all either. If it even is a close fight, I feel the judges in boxing is going to want Canelo as their guy. They don't want to see him losing that. So as much as we may argue judges and criteria and conspiracies and, you know, this and that, I think we're going to see the purest form of boxing this weekend. I think the UFC taking a break can hopefully get more spectators for boxing, and we can see a display of the sweet science. So give me Canelo Alvarez via decision, schooling him on the scorecards and winning about 8 to 9 rounds. I think he could win possibly 10 on the judges' scorecards as well. I think a dominant performance is on display. It makes the only thing concerned of if it's that dominant that Jermell wears out in the later rounds and possibly a finish can occur, but I just don't see that. I think he's going to be too in shape and ready for this fight to lose inside the distance. I just don't think either fighter can lose inside the distance. So another play for me would probably be fight to end the distance, but I think you got to pick a side in this, and I'm going Canelo to get the odds. And like I said, it was minus 130 when I got via Canelo decision.
Yeah, remember about a year ago, we were talking about Canelo might actually box Kamaru Usman.
Thank God that didn't happen.
That's far from happening now.
Thank God that didn't happen. Real quick, before you go on your take, bro, they're not taking Francis Ngannou seriously. Tyson Fury has announced he is going to be signing Alexander Usyk. If you had that in news, I just think you set it up perfectly.
Yeah, I thought that was a little disrespectful, and I'm just throwing it out there. What if Francis wins? You couldn't wait. You couldn't wait 3 weeks till the fight's over. I thought that was a little disrespectful to Francis Ngannou, and I hope he knocks him out now. Right. Anyway, I think the biggest difference between these two boxers, you know, one at the end of his prime, he's more skilled, he has a little size, but you know, like you said, Demetrius Bivol, but he did struggle against Tony Harrison, Brian Castano. I just think Alvarez, his offensive tool bag, his arsenal, footwork, his feints, the upper body movement. I just think he's going to give fits to Charlo. I don't think he's going to be able to sink. I agree. I think he wins 9-10 rounds, maybe easily. So, if I think his defense is so good, Charles going to fail to land anything with, I guess, any substance that's going to really affect Canelo. So I feel like from the videos that I've watched of Jermell Charlo, I think he struggles to create offense sometimes. Like he tries to pick his spots a little too much. He's thinking in there when he's just, should be countering 1-2, boom. I don't think he's really doing that. So I think
pictures.
Yeah, and the fight, like you said, I think it's set up for Alvarez. He dropped one of his fights recently, and I think Charlo has some shots early on, but I think Alvarez is going to prove not just to himself, but to everyone that he can hang with them and that he's still here. So I don't want to take him straight up. He's a big favorite, but I agree. I think Canelo Alvarez to win via decision at -130. It's just, he has the durability, and I just think defensively, Canelo Alvarez is just light years ahead of the young guy. So he has a fight he wants to get with Terrence Crawford, and I don't think that's smart because he put on display a few months ago he's pound for pound the best boxer in the world. Yeah. So yeah, I think the fight does go to the decision in the cards, and I think that's going to favor Canelo Alvarez. So I agree. Give me Canelo Alvarez via decision at -130. Hopefully he gets his 60th win.
So we have a team ride for Canelo Charlo. You gotta love it. And the only reason we brought up that, Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury, because he's fighting Francis Ngannou, and like you said, thank God we didn't get to see Kamaru Usman fight Canelo Alvarez, because that would have been an embarrassment. No disrespect to Kamaru Usman, he's one of the best in the world because he can mix it up so well. But Francis Ngannou is a different story. The power can put anybody on this planet out. I know everyone says that Deontay Wilder hits harder. I think that's debatable. And in the manner that he hits you as well, I think that's debatable as well. So he's live, man. And I think we're in for a good display of boxing. Like I said, I think at the end of the day, I think Jermell Charlo's game, man. And if he's coming down to weight, he's not going to have to worry about the cut. Canelo now looking a little smaller, looking like his 23-year-old self. He's got a cut. So we'll see if that plays a factor as well.
Joey, good luck on one. Good luck in PFL. Hopefully Canelo takes it home for us, but should be a good weekend. Regardless, if we have UFC, we still got plays and picks for you guys. So good luck there, Joe. Let's get into some news. A lot to talk about. We'll start with the UFC 296 card. Obviously, you guys know it's headline for the welterweight title bout between Leon Edwards taking on Colby Covington. Right now, Leon Edwards -135 favorite, +114 for Colby Covington. Some fights that were announced. Vicente Luque will take on Ian Machado Gary. Irina Aldana will take on Carlo Rosa. And Casey O'Neill will take on Ariane Lipsky.
UFC the return of the king.
And Ulan Bekov will take on Cody Duran. UFC 296. Man, this might be the card of the year. I know I said it like 3-4 times this season, but I think this one.
What is it? It's Tamir Ulanbekov?
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And then he's taking on Cody Durden. That's going to be a barn burner. Cody Durden always brings it, man.
I like all those fights. Fisher in the UFC. So we'll see. But yeah, Leon Edwards. Then you have the co-title fight. I won't even say co-main event. Alexander Pantoja taking on Brandon Royval 2. Shakov Rachmanov taking on Wonderboy Tony Ferguson against Patty Pimlin. Like I said, Vicente Luque, Ian Machado Gary. Like that main card is just phenomenal. So can't wait for that. Right. Sean Brady, he's going to be taking on Kelvin Gastelum December 2nd. What do you think about that fight?
Kelvin Gastelum versus
Sean Brady.
Sean Brady. Both need a win. If you want me to be completely honest, both definitely need a win. I think Kelvin Gastelum, his home has always been 170. He's just struggled within himself. I've always liked Kelvin Gastelum now. And I do think he'll have crisper boxing. I do. I think the Bilal fight with Sean Brady showed a lot about Sean Brady. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, if Sean Brady can't get it to the ground and can't utilize his grappling, his wrestling, his jiu-jitsu, Kelvin Gastelum should be favored in that fight, and I think deservedly so. So Kelvin Gastelum might be my lean.
Yeah, it should be interesting. We were supposed to see both of those fighters. They winded up getting injured. So we'll see. I think it's a good fight for a fight night, December 6th. Remember last week, I think we talked about UFC possibly going to Minneapolis for that December 2nd card. The UFC came out and said that it will not be going to the great state of Minnesota December 2nd. That's off the table. Apparently, the 3 states that are up for grabs, Texas, Florida, and California, are all options on the table for December 2nd fight night.
December 2nd fight night. December 2nd fight night. When is 296?
296
It's after that?
Yeah, it's Saturday.
The week
December
after?
6th. Maybe 2 weeks after. I'm not looking. Hold on.
2
I'm
weeks
not looking.
after.
December. Yeah, it's 2 weeks. It's the 2nd, the 9th, and the 16th.
I'm like torn with Cali. I think we're getting Florida though. Now I'm thinking about it.
They should
get Florida. Yeah, I think we're getting Florida again. I just debating where.
Yeah. Even I like it when they go to Texas. I don't like the judges in Texas, but I do like the state of Texas. So it also looks like Toronto, Canada is where they plan to host the first pay-per-view in 2024 in January. So 297. And it looks like Alexander the Great, he'll be back and ready to defend his title. You like going to Toronto for the start of the year?
Yeah, absolutely. Canada deserves it. I know we had the fight night a little while back. It was an exciting one. I think the fans are ready. You know, by that time, you think like Air Jordan will be ready. You think a couple of the guys that Mike Mallet, a couple of the Canadian fighters, Marc-Andre Barrel. I think there's a lot of studs that are ready to fight already. And if they get that Canada card in January, you're going to see a lot of them on it.
Yeah, it should be fun. They also had a pay-per-view a few months ago. I think right before the Jersey one.
It was with Nunes. It was after. It was literally after. Yep.
It was after.
Nunes
it was her way. And then Charles Oliveira came out and he performed. Yes, it was a great card. So yeah, I do like that. Real quick, I don't know if you heard, but Israel Adesanya has pleaded guilty to drinking and driving in New Zealand August 19th, 21 days before his world title fight.
This happened prior to the title fight, right? So
correct.
That could have had some effect in his psyche.
Yeah. And I don't know the metric system, but it said Adesanya was found with 87 milligrams of alcohol per 100
Yeah, us Americans, they didn't teach us anything right. So
the legal limit in New Zealand is 50 milligrams, and he had 87. He said he had a couple glasses of wine. His statement, I want to apologize to my community, my family, my team for the decision to get behind the wheel after drinking at dinner. Like he was saying, he was having some wine, but what do you think? Do you think that had something to do with maybe his fight?
Yeah, I do. I absolutely. Like I said, it maybe affected his psyche more than ever. And then, like, on top of it, we talked about it when we broke down the fight. When he got tagged in the first round, I think he just couldn't shake the cobwebs. I think now all the issues came rushing in, all the doubts that Izzy never has, because Izzy is one of the most confident guys in himself. I think this is the first time he's faced like his doubts, and it showed in the fight. We didn't see, full potential Izzy. So I definitely think that had to do with it.
And it's crazy because I've watched the fight with Kelvin Gastelum saying, I'm prepared to die. We did not see that same Israel Adesanya in that cage. It was like, damn, like maybe my time has come. He's way better than I thought. And it will come. Life will come quick at you real quick. So, yeah, I do think that had something to do with it. It was.
And facing a savage like Sean Strickland.
Yes, exactly. Andre Arlovsky, he's going to take on Elvis's cousin, Waldo Cortez Acosta, UFC Vegas 83, January 13th. You like that matchup?
Give me the 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
Oh, man, I love it. Speaking of charges, Nate Diaz, he will not face charges in relation to that street fight where you saw him famously choking out Logan Paul's lookalike.
I thought it was Logan Paul the first time I saw it.
I love it. I'm glad he wasn't no charges are being faced. Yeah,
exactly.
So no, good there. Semu Darji, he will take on Alan Nassermita, UFC China. December 9th.
He's fighting Alan Nascimento, Sumo Dajiri.
Yep, December 9th.
Yo,
so that's
great. That's a fight.
That December 9th is in China. So remember, Joe, we were talking about the calendar right before UFC
pay-per-view, the 296. It'll be in China.
It'll be in China, fight night.
and then they're coming to Florida for the
Or
fight night. We're getting it
before
right.
they're going to Florida to China.
or
My
California. Jeez.
God. Jeez Louise. But do you like that fight for
Absolutely.
Sumadarji?
Yeah. Sumadajri always brings it. And who's the guy fighting again? I'm drawing a blank. My bad.
Alan Nascimento.
Alan Nascimento, Brazilian grappler. He's got some power in his strikes, dude. He's always entertaining. Watch out for the blonde hair. When these guys come out with blonde hair as Brazilians, you know they're ready to fight.
Yes, sir. And speaking of the 296 card, we got to talk about the UFC 295 card at the Mecca, November 11th. John Jones, Stipe Miocic. Then you got the title fight, Yuri Prohaska and Alex Pereira. My girl, Mackenzie Dern will take on Jessica Andrade. I think they need to add another one because I like it. Don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of Jared Gordon and Mark Madsen, but Matt Schnell, they need more. And I think they added one. Tabitha Ricci. Quick turnaround for Lupe Godinez. UFC 295. You like that fight?
I like that fight a lot. Lupe Godinez taking on who again?
Tabitha Ricci, the baby
shark.
It's a big step up for her, I think.
You know, to be honest, it's Lupe Godinez got great wrestling. Tabitha Ricci's got great jiu-jitsu. I think she'll be able to find a way to shrimp and get up. That is Tabitha Ricci. But when it comes to the feet, I know Lupe Godinez looked good in her striking with Elise Reed, but I think that was because of Elise Reed, honestly. I think Tabitha Ricci might be a better striker.
Yeah, Tabitha Ricci sitting at number 10 in the strawweight division. Lupe Godinez at 13. So good step up.
This quick turnaround, I'll be honest, my lean is going to probably go away from Lupe, as surprising as that would sound. Tabitha Ricci, I think if she could find her way to get off her back, use her shrimp, use her jiu-jitsu, maybe throw in with some submissions, I think she's going to be the better stand-up fighter. I'm going to lean Tabitha Baby Shark Ricci.
Yeah, it should be a I think that's a great fight. I think it's the perfect turnaround fight. Might be too quick, but we'll see. Last one for UFC China, Andre Muniz taking on the Iron Turtle, Jun Young Park.
Great fight. Absolutely. I watch out the Iron Turtle now because
we were on him the last time.
Yeah, but Andre Muniz, man, absolute submission threat, and he's got some power on the feet, so you can never sleep on Andre Muniz.
No, not at all. And then that was the last fight. And then just two things. Dana White did come out. He did say Conor McGregor will fight in 2024. Where have I heard that before? He's also said that if Michael Chandler does want something in the meantime, then they'll give it to him. But White does expect Michael Chandler to sit and wait. Like I was telling you before we went live, it's in November. It will be a year. What do you wait for? How long, if you're Michael Chandler, do you wait until you have to take a fight? April, May?
You know what? Unfortunately, I think that's going to be kind of the game of Conor McGregor here, is going to make Chandler wait.
UFC 300?
Oh my God. I didn't think of it like that. It depends on how they're going to approach UFC 300. If the UFC is going to want to put on like a UFC 200 type event, that was more of a gimmick, to be completely honest with you.
100%.
If they used 300 to put on 4 title fights and absolute stacked prelim and main card, then yeah, by all means, they could put that fight on there. But I think that's the game right now for Conor McGregor, is to make Chandler wait with anticipation and then strike while the iron's hot and catch him by surprise and try to win that fight that way, you know? And Michael Chandler, honestly, that's what he's going to need to do. He's going to have to wait. He's going to have to keep training. He's going to have to keep paying or not paying or whatever he needs to do until he gets that payday. And I think it's the best course of action for both guys. I just think that they're, kind of taking advantage of both of one another.
As unfortunate as it is, Michael Chandler does have to wait because we all know Conor McGregor's the A side, and it moves as Conor McGregor. You're told. You're exactly, and it will be his biggest payday. I think you have to wait for him. You've waited already this long. They've announced it. It feels like the Dana White not contender series. What was it? The two teams. Ultimate Fighter.
Ultimate Fighter.
It feels like they put on that years ago and they still haven't fought. So I agree. I think you wait it out January, February, March. Sometimes they do 2 pay-per-views in March. I don't know. April, around April, May, you gotta be like, okay, I need to fight at this point. Like, I know you gotta bite the bullet, but Conor McGregor will fight you eventually. It's just you're gonna wait. And he's the A side, so very unfortunate for Michael Chandler. But hopefully that fight does come.
I don't think you get 2 pay-per-views in a month until International Fight Week in July of next year. I think they probably get just 1 pay-per-view a month until that.
And then the last news before we get out of here, rumors swirling around the immediate sell of Bellator. Rumors were out last week that PFL wasn't buying it, that the rumors weren't true.
We pointed to this before.
Yes, so PFL is buying Bellator. They come out and said the deal will be done within the next few weeks to the month. There's a lot of financials that have to go into trading,
legal hurdles.
Yes. So they came out with a statement. They said because people asked, hey, what's up with Bellator? What are you going to do with that after you purchase it? They said they're going to run Bellator for a couple years under the Bellator name. And then after their contract with the TVs, they're going to get rid of it. Are you okay with that? And where do these fighters go? To just the PFL then?
Yeah, if they acquired him, the Bellator fighter is going to be just like Pride fighters. All their contracts were absorbed by the UFC. The same is going to have to be done. If the PFL is going to buy the Bellator, they'll absorb all the contracts that haven't been sold out already. Because like we heard, we got MVP, a couple other fighters already in the UFC. So they have already left, absolved their contracts, and they're out. They're on their way. And to other organizations as well, whatever organization will pay them the most. That's, of course, they're a fighter, a prize fighter is to sell to the highest bidder. So, honestly, I saw past all the BS, looking at the context, and I saw this coming. I'm not surprised. Bellator was going to absolve sooner or later. I do like Scott Coker as a president. I don't think he's bad. I just think that Showtime, you see it. Yeah. This guy Espinoza, the president of Showtime, comes out and says they did $20 million gates for boxing events.
You're a fool.
They're hemorrhaging money. So as we can see, Bellator has to sell because they signed this contract with Showtime. They are not handling their money, their finances well. So that's why Espinoza, the weasel, the rat, is out of the job. That's why Bellator is folding. And PFL, we got to see what they're going to do because they're not making the best financial decisions either. They paid all this money to Francis Ngannou, and he hasn't even fought with them. He's fighting Tyson Fury. So I mean,
and Jake Paul and Amanda Serrano.
So they're just throwing money, hoping that it's gonna stick, and it's not. They need to figure it out, do better business. I say maybe do fights in the same night. Yeah. I don't know. Try to figure out how to do that.
I'm glad you brought up the HBO guy, and HBO's having large cuts. Announcers for ringside for boxing are getting cut. The whole
good.
It's unfortunate.
No, I'm just joking.
No, you're good. We don't root for people to lose their jobs.
No, absolutely not.
Showtime is
are affected. That's not okay. But
Showtime.
I think what it is unfortunately there's a lot of innocent casualties of this because it's a lot of the people at the top that are making these mistakes, and a lot of people at the bottom pay it for it. So this is the unfortunate aspect of the business.
But I'm glad you brought up the weasel because Dana White did come out and say it. I actually liked what he said. He was kind of had a lot of truth to it. And of course he came out there. He's always trying to one up you, this guy. So very interesting there. But yeah, I saw behind all the bullshit. I knew Bellator was not going. Yeah, I could say it. They're going under. They're going under, and PFL is buying them. So we'll have the latest within the coming weeks. But before we get out of here, Joe, 10 seconds left. What do you have for this week?
Hey, we're going right into Dana White Contender Series. Week 9, boys and girls. We got Lucas Rocha taking on Davi Costa, both in a regional scene in Brazil. Never fought. I think Davi Costa was looking to fight him. I'm going to take the guy that was looking for the fight and not the guy running from it. Give me Davi Costa here. I got Mauricio Huffy, a highly ranked guy. He was supposed to fight last week. That didn't happen, taking on Ramon Magomedov. I'm taking the underdog, I think, in the odds books when they're going to arrive. Give me Mauricio Huffy here. The next, I got Magomed Gadzia Sulov taking on Jose Daniel Medina. And, guys, a lot of these people are looking at the main event here and Magomed as the favorites. I think the books got it wrong when they come out. Like I said, no odds are posted. But give me Bolivia's first UFC fighter, Jose Daniel Medina, a dog, 100% going to be when these odds drop. I got him in that fight. Co-main event slot, Eduardo Matias Torres taking on Victor Hugo Silva. Battle of the three names between the two. I got the Brazilian who's higher ranked on the Brazilian regional scene than a higher ranked Latin American guy. I think there's more competition just in the country alone of Brazil than all of Latin America. Give me Victor Hugo Silva on the money line. And then we get to the main event. Rodolfo Bellado's taking on Murtaza Talha. Murtaza Talha, like I said, is the same country as Magomed Gaziasulov, but I think both are going to be favored, and I think the books are going to be wrong. Rodolfo Bellado, only losses have come from Vitor Petrino. You know Vitor Petrino. We've bet on Vitor Petrino. He's a salve. These are his only two losses. We've seen them in Dana White Contender Series before, so Bellado's been in this spot before. Give me Rodolfo Bellado to make his way into the UFC by getting Tala out of there. So those are my plays. Odds will drop later in the week. They're not up. We got a lot going on this weekend, so I'll keep you all posted on Twitter. And sorry, my 10 seconds ran a little long. It was probably about 30 seconds.
That was like 30, 45 seconds.
Yeah, this was a long one this week.
Appreciate
for a long
it,
episode.
Joe. Yeah, long episode, lot to get into, but I appreciate your patience, appreciate you. Like Joey said, he will post all his plays with the odds on Twitter when they do come out. But Joe, we're right back next week. We got a fight night right back at the Apex. Grant Dawson, banger of a lightweight. King Green taking on Grant Dawson. Bobby Green's trying to get into the top 10. You got Joe Pyfer on the card, Joaquin Buckley, Drew Dober, Ian Kutalabe. You got Bill Algeo, Carolina Kovacic is there. Chris Goody.
Wow.
It's a banger of a fight.
We're back
card.
in a big way.
Let's fucking go. That's going to do it for this Friday edition of Axe Cake Picks. On behalf of our sponsor, Viva Tequila, Joey, I am D-Rock. We'll see you guys next week with plenty of picks, plenty of hot takes. Please follow along our social media, Twitter and Instagram at Axe Cake Picks. We go live every Friday night around 5:15 on YouTube, youtube.com/Axe Cake Picks live. You guys can rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff really helps the show grow tremendously. So be a friend, tell a friend, everyone. Good luck on your wagers this weekend. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Shout out the chat, everyone. Stay active in the chat.